some point I need to get a tap handle on that. But that is the Dippa that I showed you guys last week. Still there, still is hazy. But yeah, this is as clear as it's going to get. Nice finger or so head in it. It's pretty good. So it's me. This beer is really good. One thing, it needs more bittering. That's really it. Just more bittering. It is 8%. It is just 855 IBU or so. Just needs a little bit of just grab you by the back of the tongue. So you can see down there, 55 degrees. Right now it's 56.3 and cooling. I don't know if you guys can hear it. The refrigerator is running there. So yeah, we'll talk about that and we'll get it. All right, so that is fermenting. That is the IPL. That is the SJ Pour IPL. So, and I was going to get you guys my water profile, so I can give you exactly parts per million what I have. I don't have it. Maybe I'll get a screenshot of it before I upload this to YouTube, just so. So yeah, I changed it. Pretty much that's it. I did a little bit of the hop edition. That's what I did. The 60 minute, the 45 minute is still the same. That's an ounce each of Denali and Sabro or Raw Mexico. Now the Whirlpool edition, this is the same as what I did for the SJ Pour, for my second round SJ Pour, other than the Denali. So the first two hops, Citra, 2 ounces of Citra, and 2 ounces of Raw Mexico or Sabro. That's what I did for the SJ Pour round 2 beer, which was eventually round 3 beer. So my only addition to this was another 2 ounces of Denali. So that's that change. Everything else is still the same. Fermenting at 55 degrees with 2 packs of S23 lager yeast, dry lager yeast. And that thing, let's see, I think I pitched around 4-ish, and it was bubbling away. 7, 8 o'clock at night, and there was just slight little hints of bubbles coming out. So sometimes it just doesn't take long for that stuff to kick off. So that was great. So we'll go over what I did Sunday, and I've got numbers for what I did the last time I brewed it. So this one, see, so it's 112 2020. My pH was 5.3, which that's in my power range. I like that. The mash gravity, the first runnings, if you want to say. I fly sparge, so I technically don't have first runnings. It's just the first runnings that are coming out of the pot before it gets the sparge water mixed in, was about 1070. So I was extremely happy with that. So the pre-boil volume was about 1055, and that's about 8 gallons, give or take, half a cup or so. So the final gravity was 1059 going into fermenter, and that's about 6.5 gallons. Now let's compare that. So my 8 gallons last time I brewed it was 1052 pre-boil. So I'm a little bit higher Sunday than I was, but my final gravity going into fermenter was 1060, so 1059. Now I boiled Sunday at 60%. I did not write down what my percentage was last time, I think, but I'm thinking it was still 60%. I did bump this up to 65 about the last half an hour, but what I did also differently with this beer was my 15 minutes I started recirculating through through my chiller, through my counterflow chiller, and I turned my manual mode of my PID onto auto, so it was going at 100%, trying to get the volume, trying to get the boil back up. So all in all, And that 8 gallons is an approximate. I've marked it off, and it's still not perfect. So, it's still, all in all, the numbers are the same. So that's great. So yeah, which kind of this beer, so compared to say the last few beers that I've had, this was 5 pounds of the Viking Pilsner malt that I got from More Beer that they sent me for free, and I got 6 pounds from a local homebrew shop. And I don't know if it's me, but I think my efficiency was better for this beer than it was for, let's say, the last 3 beers. So I'm pretty happy with that. But maybe it's just me wanting things to be that way because I'm just not happy with the results I got from the other endeavors with the pure Viking Pilsner malt. So that's that. So one thing, I've got some video footage, and not a whole lot because it's nothing new. Let's see here. One thing I did use Sunday, it was the first time I got to use it, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it. I'm in love with it. I think I'm going to marry it. Was this guy, and I bought this from More Beer. It doesn't come with the nipple and the elbow and the cam lock. It comes with the male version of this quick disconnect. So, and you'll see in the video if you guys want to stick around and watch it. But I use this to monitor the temperature of the wort going from the chiller back into the kettle during whirlpool and eventually the chilling. And I must say it's pretty nice. I was surprised. The temperature drop is pretty substantial. It goes from boiling down to about 80 degrees in one pass, which is I've never known that before because I've never had a way to monitor it. I've never tried to monitor it. So yeah, right now my groundwater temperature is about 45 degrees. So it doesn't take long to cool down to below 60 degrees. To around 65, I think is what I did with groundwater. Then I did the old, got the 22-pound bag of ice, put it in a bucket with a submersive pump, a little pond pump, and redid and went through that. And I actually got my temperature down to 50. I was watching on that, and it got down to about 55, and I went ahead and I started transferring into the fermenter, and it was actually about 50 degrees. So it actually had to warm up a little bit over the course of the evening into the next morning. So yeah, I was extremely happy. Besides that, I had a beautiful brew day. No runs, no drips, no errors. Everything went well. I felt like I hit my numbers. I didn't, no stuck sparge and anything. Everything went well. I need to do a better job of tracking my pH throughout the brewing process, which I know that, and I've expressed that. But I brewed this as I usually would. So I went ahead and I always control my pH to the mash. And then I'd go ahead and just sparge with just regular old warmed up tap water. I have a whole house filter, but I always use excuse me. See, potassium metasorbate, right? And that's to get rid of the that word, the chlorine and stuff from the water. So, yeah, everything went great. I was happy, extremely happy. I got it 6 gallons or so in there in the fermenter, and it is bubbling away. So what I'm going to do is the Brewlosophy quick lagering technique, which I've talked about it and I've expressed my views on it and how I do it several times now. So I'll let it go to about 50% attenuation, which should be somewhere probably Thursday time frame, probably Thursday, Friday time frame. I'm expecting this beer to get down to 1010-ish, right? So we started at 1060 basically. So we'll get it down to about 50% attenuation. Then I don't step anything. I'm lazy, so I'm going to jack up the temperature to about 70 and let it finish out. It'll dry out. Hopefully, it should be fine. I've never had an issue with the S23 and quick lagering technique. Then once I'll let that go it'll probably go for a week at 70 or 4 days maybe. We're talking 4 days, 5 days or so. It's 70. Whenever I feel like the gravity's terminal and it's not going to go any farther, and at that point, I will dry hop, let it go, and then what I do. Now this is me. These fermenters have these quick disconnects on. I've got a steel dip tube. Blow-off tube, sorry. I've got these from NorCal Brewing Solutions, right? What it is, I'll go get this. I'll be right. All right, so I've talked about these in the past. I haven't said much about them since I've been brewing with them for a while. But I got two of them from NorCal Brewing Solutions, right? So, Thermowell, and this is for a 7-gallon SS Brewtech conical, but it worked just fine with the brew buckets. So with this blow off, that's the hole for the blow off, that's that Thermowell hole for Thermowell. I put my probe for my Inkbird in there. This goes on just like so. So tighten that up a little bit. So that's just quick disconnect for gas line on your kegging system, Pepsi kegs. So that's that. And the gas will go through here, no problem. You're going to assure yourself if you copy this and it blows out. I mean, like literally blows out, because it will not go through the poppet, and it'll blow out through the seal and the lid. I know, personally. But then once I'm done with active fermentation, I'll throw the dry hops in there, and it always kicks up CO2, and I'll let that go for a day or so, and then I'll pop the QD off of this. So we'll just pretend. So this is on there like that, and it's got another hose running to a little small jar of Star Sand. I'll pop that off, and now nothing can leave, or anything cannot get in. Nothing can get in. So it's pretty much airtight, unless I overcome the seal, which overcoming that seal takes about 10 psi or so to overcome that seal. So if there's any active CO2 trying to get out of here, I'm actually more or less fermenting under pressure at that point. So I'm actually dry hopping under pressure at that point. So then once I pull this QD off of there, I cold crash immediately, drop my temperature down to 50 or 48, and now since it's a little colder outside, it's winter, excuse me, that refrigerator dorm will drop it down to 48 without a whole lot of issue. It takes a good day, good 24, maybe 24 to 30 hours or so to get that down to 48, but it'll stay that way. And let that go until I'm done, until I'm ready to keg. Now the thing is, when I'm ready to keg, I gotta remember to take either the tri-clamp off of this, or pop. Really, the easiest thing is to take the tri-clamp off of this, or loosen this up, because there is a vacuum. There's a pretty mighty good vacuum in there. So you try to take the clamps off the lid. It doesn't need the clamps at that point, because you know how everything gets cold, everything constricts, everything shrinks. So it's trying to pull oxygen or whatever it can through this dip tube back into the keg. Back into the fermenter, and it can't do it. So you've got to break that seal in order to transfer beer out. into your keg. So that's how I do it. That's how I've been doing it. I feel like it works well. I feel like it's a kind of a cheap way to get around suck back or some of these little other things that people use. I bought the CO2 harvester from NorCal Solutions, which is 2 ball jars. So you've got Star Stain in one, and that one bubbles, and as it cold crash, it pulls the Star Sand from one into the other, right? And you don't get any suck back through the tube. Everything kind of just moves jars and containers, and that worked well. But I didn't want that many jars kind of floating around. I wanted something a little more simple, and I dreamt up this, and everything seems to be working great. So yeah, I can't complain. I like it. I like it a lot. So that's my spiel. I've been talking now for about 15 minutes. That's not including the pouring video and the Homebrew Wednesday, because tonight's Tuesday night, tomorrow's Homebrew Wednesday, right? Almost forgot it. So yeah, I am getting into the yeast experiment. Gary, main brew guy, put out a video today. There's a couple more spots available, 2 to be exact, but if there were 4 people or 6 people wanted to come, I'm sure Gary would accommodate everyone. You guys don't have to do beer reviews. You don't have to get on the YouTubes and do beer reviews. If you want, you guys can set up the camera, so all you're doing is looking at the beer. You guys are behind the camera. You guys can look at the beer, hold the beer with your hands, and just talk. And there's no faces involved. If you guys want to do it that way, if you guys do some research, look at the old Hokey Homebrew contest and that old SJ Pour contest. There was guys that did that, so there's no shame in that. No shame at all. Not everybody's got a face for radio like this guy does. So yeah, that's it for me. Well, I'll show you guys some clips. You guys can enjoy what I've done, which is, everybody loves watching brewing videos. I like actually watching people brew, right? I don't talk a whole lot during it. I'm not going to sit down and try to educate you guys about how. But you guys hit me up on the comments, whatever, and we can talk if there's anything you guys need some explaining about. But anyway, all right, guys, that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys next week. This thing will lace for days. This beer will lace for days, and all it is it's 15 pounds of 2-row, 15 pounds of Pilsner, and 1.5 pounds of flaked oats, and this thing will leave lacing for days. Love it. But just a little more bitter, it would be great. I think it'd be just about that beer that I've been chasing for a long time. Yeah, love it. I love the taste profile. The mouth feels great. Just needs just a little bit more bittering in the back end. It would be awesome. All right, guys, that's it. Cheers. All right, mashing at 148. So we got just been about 7 minutes into the mash. So I've got everything going. Get in there. Recirculation going on. So this is my SJ Pour beer. So what I've done, I've adjusted the water profile, and that's pretty much it. Besides that, it's the exact same beer. I'm going to go on and just see what happens. See what the taste difference is between the other profile I was using opposed to this profile. So that's all it is. It's just kind of an experiment. I've brewed this beer quite a bit lately, so I'm got a pretty good understanding what it tastes like prior to the water changes. So yeah, that's it. That's what we're doing. All right, sparging. So I've got roughly about 5 gallons I need to sparge with. So right now I've got just about 2.5 gallons collected. So that's what it looks like in the kettle. So I'm moving right along. Numbers are good, actually really good. So this is just the standard volumes of the Pilsner and flaked oats. And So there's 5 pounds of the free Pilsner, Viking Pilsner malt that I got from More Beer in there. And I've got 6 pounds of Pilsner that I bought from my local homebrew shop. And my numbers are really good. So, yeah, I guess what I'm thinking, jury's still out on the Viking Pilsner. I seem like I'm getting a lot better efficiency with the 6 pounds of stuff that I bought at my local homebrew shop, but that's just me. I don't know. All right, guys, that's enough from now. All right, I've started the final chill. I just finished the half an hour Whirlpool 130. So I've got a new little toy I'm using today. Just a thermometer I got from More Beer. I think I covered it in the past Homebrew Wednesday. But so I'm just kind of monitoring the temperature as it goes back into the kettle. So I know what it is in the kettle. I just want to see what the temperature is going back into the kettle. That'll also be the temperature going into the fermenter. So yeah, I got a 6-ounce Whirlpool along with a 4-ounce 15-minute. And so there's 8 ounces of hops in there. So that's why you're seeing all that murkiness. But it's been whirlpooling now for half an hour. So we'll cool it down. I'll have a nice little trub come in the center, but it's not going to clear up. That's pretty much the typical. It'll clear up in primary. It'll never clear altogether, just because there's a pound and a half of oats and shit ton of hops in it. But anyway, with the water changes, hopefully have a little more bitterness to it, a little more IPA portion of the IPL. So anyway, all right, guys, that's it for now. Not a whole lot of footage today, but everything went great. Right, so we're chilled, we're done. That's the cone that I leave in the bottom of the pot. So it's not huge, but there's so many stinking hops in there, you're never gonna clear out that wort before it goes into the fermenter. So yeah, there's the ice bath with the submersible pump. Got this thing down to 50, a little over 50 degrees. Yeah, one nice thing about that thermometer, I can rotate it up, unplug it. I don't have to worry about it, stuff dripping out of it, making more of a mess that I have to clean up. So anyway, here we go. Everything's tucked away. So yeah, it actually 51.1 degrees is what it was coming out of the chiller back into the pot. So good enough. We're going to ferment at 55 until about 50% attenuation. Then we're going to jack up the temperature to about 70. Let it finish out. Fermentations, IPO. All right, guys. Cheers.